Hi, if you can't tell, it's the next morning. I'm shooting this last video and I'm going to get it up. So here are some questions that I ask when I look at an old piece and figure out if I can perform it ethically, according to my own morals, in the 21st century. The first thing I ask about a piece like this is who wins and who loses. Is there a winner and a loser? Are we playing together, or is there some kind of competition? Is there a hierarchy, a social hierarchy that is subverted, or a social hierarchy that is preserved and maintained? Okay? So who wins and who loses in this act? Well, a very simplistic way to look at it is that the boss essentially just browbeats the dummy into eventually submitting. So the boss wins. And I think that you can play it that way. That's not the way that I would like to play it now. It's not the way I would like to interpret it. So I think that for me, my morals, what I care about in the world, I'm going to make some changes. Who is the butt of the joke? Again, it kind of depends on how you approach it. So we make some choices to ensure that the butt of the joke is who we want it to be. Who is my partner, right? If my partner is going to be somebody who looks like me, presents like me, then I might make different choices. But I've done this piece many times with all different kinds of people. I work with my old clown partner, bald, straight white guy just like me, but I've done it with my daughter. I started doing it when she was in kindergarten, and when she's 2 feet tall and I'm 6 feet tall and I'm yelling at a kid, there are, that can get problematic, right? Nobody wants to see a grown-up yell at a little kid, especially a really cute little kid like my kid. So we need to think about that. If my partner's a woman, the woman I'm working with right now is a fantastic clown, but again, if I'm going to be out there beating up a woman in front of kids, we need to give this some serious thought, right? So it's not just optics, right? It's not just optics, it's meaning making. And what narratives do I want to put out there into the world, especially for young audiences? And finally, the big question is, where's the humanity? So all art, any art, exists to reveal something about the human condition. The more it reveals, or the more in depth it reveals something about the human condition, the more people that can relate to it, the more popular that art is, and the more successful critics maintain that art is. There exists, now if this is you, I'm not talking about you, but I've seen this. There is what I'm going to call a bad Ringling style of clown performance. I'm not saying all Ringling clowns are bad. These people are my friends, okay? Some of them are great. I've learned a lot from these clowns. But there are some who literally just go through the motions. They shake their shoulders when they're crying. They put their hand up like this and go, he, when they're laughing. But they're not being moved. They're not sharing anything of themselves. They're literally just hitting all the beats of the narrative. They're hitting them cleanly, so the story's being told, but ultimately nothing deeper is being communicated. So even in a piece like this, something that's maybe 2 minutes long, 2.5 minutes at the most, what story can be told? What can we reveal about the human condition? Who wins? Who loses? So, bye pups. As a director of this stuff, here's what I would do with it, right? So my guiding vision for this would be the wisdom, shut up, dog, the wisdom of the simplicity of the id overpowers the selfish, overbearing ego. So my guiding vision is Zen in the art of clown, right? The dummy is not smarter than the boss, but the dummy knows more about the relationship than the boss. All the boss can see is what they want. They need to preserve the order that they have in their head. But the dummy can see past that. And that's the beauty of it. So the dummy, in some way, is manipulating the boss from the beginning. this Lazzo ultimately has to be payback for inequitable treatment. It has to, the boss has to lay it in so deep onto that dummy that the dummy needs to look for an opportunity for payback, for revenge. And that's key. That's what propels this whole thing. So if we recognize that the number one, the banana, the high status clown, needs to preserve order so much that even, roughing up their hair is the biggest possible insult, right? And then they need to fix it because everything must be perfect in order for them to move forward. Then we can start to see how the dummy can really be in charge. And we're going to share, the dummy is going to work really hard to share the truth with the audience throughout. So the audience knows that the dummy's just messing with the boss. They're going to know that. Because the boss is going to get upset. The boss is going to lose their top. The boss is going to get hurt emotionally. But the dummy's going to be right there, and the dummy's going to let the audience know, it's okay, I'm just playing. That moment of disappearance, that moment on the third time where the boss turns around and doesn't see the dummy, I think that we can turn this into a moment, right? It's a moment of, I was just yelling at my kid. I can't believe it. They're being horrible. I'm yelling at my dog, yelling at my kid, right? The dummy has no responsibilities in this world. You're laying into them. And then when you turn around, they're gone. Where did they go? Panic sets in. And this panic, as long as we're tossing the plate up, we're not smashing the plate down, but as long as we're panicking while tossing the plate up, and we see that the dummy's right there, the dummy's just behind him, then it's okay, right? So then that moment of discovery, what do we have? We have relief. Here you are. And then maybe that turns into laughter. Maybe the laughter turns into tears. And the tears turns into rage. But then that rage is subverted by the dummy when the dummy outsmarts the boss one last time. You're not going to get the satisfaction. And why does the dummy ultimately move over on their own accord? For two reasons. Number one, we're playing together so the audience can win. It's satisfying. But number two, all the dummy wants to do is play. And the dummy can't play with their buddy unless they go where they're supposed to go. So they've gotten everything they need out of that game, right? They made their boss panic, have a moment of relief, that moment of recognition and catharsis. What was I doing? And then once they've achieved that and put them through heck, then they drag themselves back and then they can go on with it. So it's satisfying for the audience and ultimately equitable for the character who had less power in this society. So that's the way I would move forward with something like this to perform it in the 21st century. I do care about a lot of these issues, and I want my art to reflect the things that I care about. Will it still be funny? Yes. Would I go through all of those beats at the end with the relief and the laughing and the sadness and the tears and the rage? Would I do that for kids? Probably not. However, if we look at the stuff that is being performed at high level, Lincoln Center, you look at the Nance, Lincoln Center, and what Nathan Lane did with the Hortense monologue at the end of that play, which you can find on YouTube. It's called The Nance, Nance. This is art, and this takes the stuff which is very simple, and ultimately moves it up to where it's art, and it is valuable in the world. Hopefully this was of value to you. If you stuck around for 40 minutes of me talking about this stuff, God bless you. I'm working on some technical fixes so I can actually stream live next time. And thanks for sticking around. Hopefully you learned something. My name is Brian Foley. You can learn more about me at vvphx.com. Bye.